Hi, today I'm going to show you how to make some cute little patriotic palette looking signs. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vicky, and these signs are super quick, super easy, and really cute. So the first thing I did was I took 8 of these popsicle sticks or craft sticks to make my sign out of. The first sign I want to make is a flag. So I just lined them up and decided how many I needed to make it look about the shape and size of a flag. And then I have one to make the back as a holder. And I cut the back part in half so that I could put a piece on each side. And the pieces ended up being slightly smaller than the 7 sticks lined up, but since I'm using hot glue, the hot glue itself will be able to hold it together. So I used 3 colors of paint. I have 2 apple barrel, cobalt blue and bright red, and then this white acrylic paint that I bought from in a pack with a whole bunch of other colors. And then I took the hot glue, and first I tried putting it on the stick, which worked okay, but I was a little worried about getting it stuck to my fingers because I do have a tendency, unfortunately, to get it stuck on myself and also burn myself, which is not so good. So the next piece of wood, I put it on the craft sticks themselves and then just put the little piece on top. One thing I will note about doing it either of these ways is that since it's the hot glue is going to go in between the pieces of sticks, you're going to want to make sure you pick up your little sign pretty quickly and make sure it's not stuck to whatever surface you're working on. And I also added a little extra glue along the sides just to make sure it was stuck on pretty good. And while that was hardening, I took another set of popsicle sticks, and I'm going to make another tall sign with just a red, white, and blue heart. And for this one, I used 6 sticks, and they're going to go vertically instead of horizontally with 1 more stick to glue it together. So I did the same thing. I cut the stick in half, and I'm going to hot glue it onto the 6 sticks that make up the sign. And I just started laying down the hot glue again in 2 spots on the sides, so it'll look pretty similar to the other one. One thing I found that was easier, so you see I have the sticks set up against a flat surface. That way there's a better chance of them sticking together the way I want them to. I do think it's really cute how they look vaguely like fences when you do them like this. Of course, I'm going to be using the front, not the back, but still they look cute while they're drying anyway. Start painting the flag sign. So I took the blue and I made it into the blue part of the flag. And I did the outside edges as well. So these signs are going to look a little rustic. One thing about doing acrylic paint on the popsicle sticks is the wood itself is very porous. So if you wanted a really good coat, you would want to put down a primer or a first coat of the paint and then do another coat. But since these are going to look pretty rustic, I'm just going to do the 1 coat on all of them and then maybe do a little bit of whitewash over top of them. So you can see now that I'm adding the red, you could just leave the sign like this if you liked it really rustic. Or you could stain the popsicle sticks first to make them look a little darker and then paint them like this. It would look nice too. I am going to paint them white though once this red and the blue dry a little bit. And I just did all the edges on this with this color too. So then the next and really the last little sign I made is I just took 3 popsicle sticks and cut off the round ends and cut them in half. It'd probably be a good idea to measure them. I did not, so they were all different sizes, but I trimmed them up later just using a pair of scissors once they were glued together. So once I had the 6 sticks, I took another stick, cut it in half, and used that as the backing for this tiny little sign, and hot glued the backing onto it. So next, I just free-handed a heart using the red paint onto the taller sign. It would also be really easy to use a sticker or a cutout, or a stencil if you're into stencils. But hearts are so easy to draw that I just drew it freehand, and then I filled it in with the red paint. Now this one I wanted a little thicker of a coat, so I did do it a little thicker. I am going to do some white paint over top of it, so it doesn't need to be perfect, but I still wanted it to look a little more intense on the red. So I'm doing all the painting of these little signs all together because I want to be able to use the same little bit of paint and the same brush. So on my tiny little sign, I did 2 of the rows in the blue. And then I just added a little row of blue to the tall heart sign. And next I added the row of red onto the tiny sign. And now I'm going to finish up all of the signs with the white paint. So first I'm going to just paint the white lines on my little flag. And then I'm going to sort of dot on the stars. I didn't really count how many stars I was doing. I just added some so they looked full and some on each row. So on the tall sign, I wanted to do a little bit of a whitewash effect. And I'm going to sort of paint right over the blue and the red. And it's going to smear a little bit. But I thought that would look kind of neat. So I just covered the whole thing with one thin coat of the white paint. So after that was done, I put some white paint on the middle of the tiny sign. And after I added all the paint, I decided I also wanted to add some glitter because that's kind of my style. So I did the tiny sign. I covered the whole thing in glitter. And then on the taller sign, I put some glitter mostly just on the heart. And the last thing I did was just add a little bit more or another coat of white paint to the white stripes on the flag. I really wanted the white paint to show up on this, but I also wanted to do a little bit of white around the outside as sort of a little bit of a distressing look. So I sort of went over the whole thing very lightly with a tiny bit of white paint. So you can see how easy and quick these tiny little signs were. And while they're very simple and rustic looking, I think they'll look really cute in the rest of my decor. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching.